Hey guys, Ponce here, and I just thought I'd draw your attention to this little kind of update thing that Riot has on their website. They don't have any firm plans for the preseason or season 4 stuff, the stuff they're going to change in the preseason leading up to season 4. If you guys remember back at when season 3 started, they had quite a few changes, and it was significantly different. Like season 2 and season 3 were very different games. So I don't know how much of a change there'll be for the next season, but they are kind of giving hints and sort of a general idea of the direction they want to go, and highlighting that they will be talking about these systems in the days to come. So when there's more information, I'll get that to you guys, and of course there'll be a gameplay, actual gameplay videos, me detailing how stuff goes if I can get access to the public test realm. At the time when this stuff goes live. But yeah, for now, why don't I just go over what they've said so far and sort of my thoughts on it, what kind of information we might be able to squeeze out of it. It's always a dangerous activity, but we'll give it a shot anyway. Yeah, if you want the actual thread itself, it will be in the description directly below this video. Just click on the link, it'll take you to this. You can read it for yourself. But yeah, let's just highlight some of the parts that I thought were interesting. First off, their major point is Ward's vision and the new trinket system that's highlighted in this little paragraph here, or a little bullet. Basically, they say there will be possibly specialized vision items, per player ward limits, and more ward options. So that's quite interesting. I also wonder if there might be just kind of a what do you call it? Like a blanket ward per team, or if that would just be covered in the per player ward limit. Again, like I'm going to stress this again, none of this is definitely going to go in, but it might be interesting to see a per player ward limit. So I guess this is Morello talking here. Yeah, this is Morello. Morello is basically saying they don't want wards to be just kind of like you have tons of gold, so you blanket the map in wards, and it's just kind of a spam the other team with gold and win the game kind of thing. They want wards to be a more strategic choice, which I can appreciate. That sounds like a pretty good idea to me. I mean, warding is pretty basic right now. There's like, if your team actually wards, then generally when they're winning, they just blanket everything. They can see everything coming, and it's pretty easy. It really it adds to the snowball effect almost. Not almost, it pretty much does. So yeah, there's that. Aside from that, there's going to be a new jungle. So it says there's going to be a new fourth monster camp. Now, when they say fourth, I'm assuming they mean lesser camps, because if you add up all the jungle camps, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 already, and then there's 2 neutral camps, or like two major camps. And there's also 2 buff camps, so it can't be anything related to the major camps like Baron or Dragon or the 2 buffs. It has to have, most likely has to have something to do with the 3 lesser camps, the Wraiths, the Wolves, and the Golems. That means there's probably going to be a 4th thing per side. I'm going to guess it's going to be spiders, because if we go by MMO conventions, we got Wolves, we've got Wraiths, we've got Golems. It's spider time next, and plus spider models are already in the game. So that's just my guess. Don't know if it's going to be true. But yeah, that should be interesting. And the other thing they're talking about is, like it says here, introduce new items for carry style junglers, better gold reward flow. So I'm guessing they want to increase jungle gold. That's a very dangerous change. It could be quite interesting. Quite a major change, actually. Now, if we go all the way back to sort of a season, I believe season 2 style, it could have been season 1, but I think it was season 2 style where junglers were a lot more powerful in general. And then they tended to sort of dictate the flow of lanes a lot more, which I didn't like because I was a laner. But I do like the idea that junglers are going to have a much more interesting role, because personally, I'm going to get into personal things, this might not have anything to do with you, but personally I prefer a champion that has like raw damage sort of carry potential, not just sort of your tanky, I'm going to run up there and soak things and hope the rest of my team actually does their job while I get hit kind of thing. I don't really like that role, which is what junglers largely been limited to in Season 3, unless you really snowball. But that again, that's snowball dependent, that's unreliable, you don't want to rely on snowball. So if a carry style jungler becomes viable, I wouldn't actually mind shifting over to doing jungle a lot. I'm a primary top lane, and there has been some overlap in terms of junglers and stuff. But the way I play top lane is a lot more offensive. It's not the standard very defensive thing that can cross over into the jungle. So if I can transfer my aggressive build offensively playstyle into the jungle, That would be great. I would personally look forward to that. And so for those of you guys who like building damage, I'm sure you guys do too. And even like building tanky, it's not like the old style would probably stop working. I don't foresee that. You'd just be even more tanky with the gold you have. The other thing they talk about is right here, support gold. Support gold is going to be heavily adjusted. And basically they want utility to scale, or scale utility instead of their damage to reinforce the unique identity. So how you scale utility, I don't really know how they're thinking of accomplishing that. I can't really speculate on that too much. I mean, the first thing that came to mind is maybe they're going to introduce a new healing stat, or something. But I don't think they're going to do anything that drastic to the game. I don't think they're actually going to introduce a completely new stat. I think it's just probably mostly through itemizations and masteries. Here I said I'm not going to speculate on it, and then I just do. But yeah, probably I guess through more support specialized masteries, maybe some items that do kind of more weird things. So we'll see how that goes. That might play into that trinket system they mentioned in terms of wards much earlier, but we'll see. The fact that also they want support to have more gold, it looks like that should help. Maybe there's going to be some kind of like either an item or a mastery maybe that siphons gold, not siphons, but let's say the AD carrier, someone around you gets the last hit, you get to share in some of that gold or something. Maybe stuff like that. We'll see. And I'll certainly cover that when it goes live, or at least try to. The other point they make here is game flow and mathematical system changes will reduce team snowballing. Changes to tower, first blood rewards, assist streaks, dragon rewards, stuff like that. Now this is an interesting change. This is overall a good change, most likely, or should be a good change for balance and just kind of evening things out, because snowball's it's pretty decisive in this game, like at any kind of level. Even at sort of lower elos, it's easy to see what team is going to win. It makes professional games kind of boring to watch, in my opinion, because after the first 10 minutes, I pretty much I have like a 90% prediction rate after the first 10 minutes of what team is going to win. Because it's just so easy to tell once, if a team is ahead, they just stay ahead and nothing happens about it. So this is good for probably a balanced sense of the game and kind of making things a bit more fresh, I guess. That sucks for me personally. Well, at least in a sense, because I have this sort of very gimmicky, aggressive early style where I pretty much always get first blood, and I have a lot of cheese strats, and then I don't play a lot of ranks, so when I do, my hidden matchmaking rating is significantly higher than what I actually am. So, I tend to just sort of get up to a high elo really quickly, because if you're good at snowballing, that means you're a lot better at carrying your team, right? So, I mean, I suppose it might make it harder for people to carry really hard if they're in sort of elo brackets they don't belong in. But like I said, we'll see. It'll also even out to an extent that, let's say your team feeds really badly, maybe the enemy team won't snowball as hard. So, like I said, getting rid of cheese strats isn't a terrible thing, I'm not going to defend my strategies too much. But yeah, that's that point. Let's get away from how it's going to affect me personally. They're also going to revisit the brush layout. So I don't know what they're going to do with it. They're going to kind of change brush, and in general, it's create an experience that consistently rewards good play. So maybe there's going to be interesting things you can do with the bushes all over the map, and that might affect a lot of champions that rely heavily on the brush, like Garen or Nidalee or Rengar and stuff like that. So we'll see. That could be neat too. The other point they're making is about masteries and runes and stuff. I'll just read this out. Masteries will be revamped along with our seasonal update, and while we will not be doing a significant mastery rebalance, except when targeting specific roles. So masteries, they're saying they're not going to change too much. I suspect we're probably going to see the most mastery changes in terms of the support role. That's just my guess. And probably the other ones won't change too much, or if you're an AD carry or stuff like that. The more interesting point I thought was They say, for runes, our core focus will be on creating more dynamic and balanced rune options while smoothing out the overall experience of customizing your strategies outside of the game. Yeah, runes need rebalancing. Right now, there are basically only, if you spend some time thinking about it, I mean, there are niche examples, so, don't everyone start yelling at me. So when I play X champion, I can use this. But really, all people ever use is they'll have either flat damage or some kind of either form of penetration for reds. Everyone uses armor. What's it called? Armor yellows. In fact, yellow probably has the least diversity in it. I think some supports use the GP5. I personally still use armor on supports because of the way I play. And what's it called? For blues, people only ever use mostly magic resist, though sometimes they'll also use. Personally, I use what's that thing called? Cooldown reduction. I'm sure some people use cooldown reduction flat. I use it per level, depending on what I'm doing. And it's only really quintessences where variation comes in. A lot of people like using spell vamp, or not spell vamp, but well, some people still use spell vamp for certain things. There's also flat AD. There's the movement speed, that's another popular one. And there's a couple other things, like I said, quintessences you can get a bit creative with, but the other three, not really. They're very, very limited. So it'd be nice to see them if they can actually, even if it's through buffing ones, the actual master, or the runes that suck, or, stuff like that. But like I said, we'll see what they do. It definitely needs variety because it's quite boring right now. Everyone just picks the same thing, and if they don't, they're at a disadvantage. That's really, I mean, it's not a massive disadvantage, but a disadvantage nonetheless. So everyone's in, shoehorned into this, the same build, largely the same build. But yeah, like I said, I don't know when this is coming live, and with the changes to the public test realm, I don't know if I'm still going to have access to it. But assuming I do, I will cover this stuff for you live when it's available. So see you around, guys, and hope you found this at least somewhat informative through all the rambling. And hopefully it made sense. But I will see you guys around. Goodbye.